We're in Spain, of course, for the Champions League final. And gentlemen,
Madrid, I think we're in. Not just Spain, we're in Madrid. And what a lovely view it is as well.
Can you not be in Madrid and Spain at the same time?
I think you might need to be more particular.
Yeah?
Where
Well, we're at Retiro Park. Would you like to be more particular
that's better.
that?
That's what I wanted. Yes,
Lakeside
that's what we
Park.
wanted.
Right, for a very special edition of Would You Rather. Who'd you rather, okay? First one up. Firmino or Son?
To clarify, we're talking where they're both fully fit, so
Yes.
it's not
Yeah, 100%.
the way it might be in Saturday night.
Yes.
For me, I'm going to go with Firmino. There's not much in it, and I think a lot also is going to depend on the type of team that you have and what you want of them. But his movement is so good. He makes players around him better. Son, obviously, more explosive perhaps, probably more goals in him. But Firmino, much more of a team player.
Gabs described it brilliantly because that's what Firmino does. He's an intelligent footballer. He drops deep at times and he drags centre halves out so other players can make forward runs. When the ball comes in the box, he's good in the air. He finds space in the box. He's a decent passer. He closes the ball down with great enthusiasm, part of Klopp's game plan. So if you wanted an intelligent footballer, Firmino's the man. If you wanted somebody to run in behind and cause problems with his running ability, you go for Son. But overall, as a player, I would go with Firmino.
Okay, what about Mane, or the hero of the semi-finals, Lucas Moura?
Also a hero of the semi-finals, of course.
Even bigger hero.
Undoubtedly. I'm going to go with Sadio Mane. I think Sadio Mane's still only just scratching the surface. I think his dribbling abilities, close control in crowded areas, I think he's getting better and better, as the time passes at Liverpool. And this season, of course, you've also seen it with him scoring a ton of goals too.
Yeah, I would agree with Gab again. Lucas Moura has done really well for Spurs since he's got into the side. He had a poor start when he first came. He's a player that I think is inconsistent. He needs confidence to play well. Whereas Sadio Mane can do most things you want from a wide player or a centre forward. He can run in behind. He's got quick feet. He scores goals as well.
He's also much better, I think, defensively when it comes down to press.
Closing the ball down. Now,
what about is this even a question? Eriksen or Salah?
Different players, totally different players. Salah is a goal scorer and somebody who runs in behind, and again, intelligent with his movement. Eriksen's somebody who picks out the passes. If you wanted someone to pick out the passes and be a creative player, you'd go with Eriksen. But we're talking about who's the most effective player out the two. Salah's the most effective player because he scores goals and is always a threat.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I'm so impressed with Eriksen and what he's done, but if you look at the sheer volume of Salah's goals, you look at, it really would be fun if these guys were reversed. Like, what would Klopp do with Eriksen? What would Poch do with Salah? I know that's not the question. For me, though, you take Salah ahead of him.
Okay, let's go back a little bit. Sissoko or Wijnaldum?
I've always been a great fan of Wijnaldum ever since I saw him play for PSV, and I saw him play in the World Cup in 2014. Not always starting for that Dutch team, but I think again he's got all attributes you want from a midfield player. He's a slightly confidence player, but he can run forward when he needs to. He can play as a holding midfield player. I don't like this fact that people say, "Oh, somebody's a defensive midfield player or attacking midfield." As a midfield player, you should be able to do both things.
Right.
Wijnaldum can do that. Sissoko has been powerful. I think he changed the game when he came on against Ajax in the first match. Obviously Tottenham didn't win that game, but he changed the complexion of the game. He's a dynamic player, but I'd still go for Wijnaldum.
I'm going for Sissoko.
Oh,
every
really?
day of the week. I mean, the Sissoko of this year.
Right, okay.
Right. Let's not forget, this often gets overlooked. The work Pochettino did with Sissoko. Sissoko looked like an absolute waster in last season. And you look at him this season, even when he's injured in that game that Stewart described, he came out half time. The guy was injured, and he still changed the game. I think he has a dynamism. I think he has a physical strength.
Playing in his right position, would you say now? Centrally, rather than when he first came to Spurs, he played on the right-hand side.
Yeah, I can understand why they did that. Poch loved the idea of the mismatch, but yeah, he can certainly much more influential in that role.
Alisson or Lloris? Let's go goalkeepers.
This season, there's only been one choice, and that's Alisson. I still don't trust him, particularly when the ball's at his feet. Still makes one or two mistakes, but he's a better goalkeeper at the moment than Lloris, who's made too many mistakes. So Alisson, no question about it.
No brainer.
Yeah, pretty much. Lloris can point to the scoreboard and point to his World Cup, but it's Alisson.
Final one then. The Liverpool bench or the Spurs bench?
You're going to have to go with the Liverpool bench. They've got enough on their bench to come in and change the games. The midfield, of course, no Keita, but they've got maybe Milner who can come on, Henderson if Wijnaldum plays. I look at the Spurs bench. Is Llorente, is he a great substitute? He changed the game against Ajax, which was very good and played very well. And he did, I thought, excellently at Juventus. Not by scoring goals, but linking up the play. But I don't fancy their bench as much as I do Liverpool's.
To me, it's a lot closer than Stewart says. And I appreciate it's difficult when we talk about the Spurs bench because they've had so many injuries and, you know, it's hard to tell who do you include as a starter. We wouldn't have had Son as a start. Son would have been part of the Spurs bench for a long time. For me, I might just lean Liverpool, but what I would point out is I think Pochettino is a more flexible manager,
absolutely,
more pragmatic manager. He can get more out of the people he brings in off the bench.
And going back to the question, or talk about that Ajax game, Pochettino made 2 substitutions. We're talking about the bench. Yep. Llorente came on in one game and changed it completely. So they went long. He held up the play. Others joined in, changed the game. Sissoko in the first game, when they were being totally outplayed in midfield, he came on and again changed the game. So on those 2 occasions, the Spurs bench did really well.
And what if Kane's on the bench?
That's the interesting thing. Do they start with Kane or bring him on for 30 minutes?
If he is on the bench, does that then supersede your argument?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, it makes it very... he's an outstanding player, we know that. But how fit is he?
Thank you very much, gentlemen. It is hot. I think it's time for an ice cream, you reckon? Would you rather, ice cream or beer, Robbo?
There's only one choice.
There you go, a bit of strawberry ice cream. All right, boys, thank you very much. Lots more, of course, to come from us here in Madrid right up to kick-off.